What's up, everybody? This is Sean coming at you from sunny St. Mary's, California, Maryland. And this is Comix Review. This is my in-depth analysis of what I'm reading, what I intend to read, and what maybe you all should be reading. Hell, how about that? So, I start off with my pull list. Pull list is very, almost generic. I wouldn't say very unique. I got Batman, Detective Comics, Black Panther, which I'm thinking about dropping, getting very, very slow. And I hate the I hate the pace that they're taking with T'Challa, almost treating him like a like a foreigner in his own country of Wakanda, and almost relegating him to like a second string character in his own book. I don't like it. Hopefully it picks up, but if it doesn't pick up by the next issue, I'm going to drop it. Next up is Dark Spaces Wildfire. That is a really good book. I picked up the first one after listening to some of these yahoos on YouTube talk about it. And so I just picked it up on a whim, the first issue, and I was like, this is pretty damn good. The artwork is a little different, but it's very mature. It's about these they're actually prisoners. They're firefighters from a women's prison, and their CO is their leader. And they convince her to go rob a house for digital currency. It's very, very dark. As a matter of fact, they show that, these people don't make it out. Their CO, she has lung cancer from years of fighting fires and things, and smoke inhalation. So it's very, it's a deep, it's like a conversation piece too, about forced labor in prison. On top of that, they're basically doing firefighting services around rich people's homes. So it has a class aesthetic. Very interesting take on a very basic premise. Very good book, too. Very good book. They're on issue 2. I bought issue 2. I really, really enjoyed it. Next up is I Am Batman. That's another Calvin Ridley book. Who didn't know? Not Calvin Ridley, John Ridley. He also writes Black Panther. This book is a lot better than the Panther book because, it's a different character. It has Jace Fox. Very interesting version of Batman. Excuse my dog because he's an idiot. Very interesting version of Batman. I really enjoyed it. The latest issue. But, definitely going to keep that on my pull list. I've been following this version of Batman since the miniseries, the 2 miniseries, Future State, Next Batman, and then the Second Son miniseries. Really interesting character. I hope they build his rogues gallery. For right now, he only has like the Man Ray. They just introduced Commissioner Montoya onto his title. Those who don't know, Montoya is the Question. She's a different version of the Question. But it's an interesting premise. Hopefully they don't make her like a sidekick, because I think Batman operates better alone than with people. Next up is Locust. I like Locust. It's the second series of this. They're in a world. It's a post-apocalyptic dystopian world where these people get a virus and it turns them into living locusts and they eat people, almost like The Walking Dead. It has a religious aspect to it because these end of the world people, and very realistic because they do have a lot of end of the world people here where I live at in Maryland who just want to see the end of the world and the rapture. They're in this world too. And they're just messing things up even worse. So it's an interesting take. The first series was really fun. I wouldn't say fun, but it was bleak. But it was very realistic. These people don't have infinite ammo. They're scrounging for supplies every issue, trying to evade people, trying to fight these monsters. It's a realistic, gritty take on a basic premise. Newer to the list is Sins of the Black Flamingo. I picked that first issue up. and I bought the second and third issue just a little while ago. Really different series. This guy, he's a high-end thief of a cult and magical objects. He steals stuff. He just happens to be a bisexual or a gay person. And in the first issue, it kind of throws you for a loop because he stumbles upon an angel. He brings another, I guess, what do they call these things? Golem to life. And the golem has the spirit of a gay dude that was persecuted during the Holocaust. Interesting takes on things. Good social commentary on people. Good artwork too. The covers are really good, but it's on my pull list. Very interesting book. Sins of the Black Flamingo. Something's Killing the Children next. Good book. Solid read. Star Wars Vader. Solid read. Star Wars Doc Afra. Really solid read. They've changed the character a little bit. She has an entity inside of her now. It's kind of convoluted to explain, but it's a good read. Lisa Wong, really great writer. Can't wait to see how she wraps up this. The Variants, that's with Jessica Jones. She has different versions of herself from across the multiverse, converging into our the 616 continuity. Also, I guess she's worried about some type of hypnotic suggestion that the Purple Man could have implanted in her, and I guess it was supposed to go off and she might kill her whole family. But that's kind of suggested, but it hadn't happened yet, and it is on issue 3. So we're gonna see. I'm gonna keep riding it. Do a Power Bomb, probably one of the better reads of the month. Really well done book. Edge of the Spider-Verse. I've been reading that because Spider-Verse, they always introduce a bunch of new characters that help build up the Spider Universe. Because right now you can't say Marvel unless you say Spider-Man. Reading 8 Billion Genies, really good book. They're about a little more than halfway done with that series. I think it has 7 issues. I picked it up in the beginning. I ordered a signed copy of it, and it was like an ash can. It came with 2 signatures and like a sketch on the cover, and it was just like $10. Now check out eBay and see what they're going for. It's crazy. Flashpoint Beyond with Thomas Wayne, great book. House of Slaughter. I'm on the fence for that one. I like it, but it's like it's a slow burn, and it's not James Tynion IV writing it. It's a different writer, and it's not necessarily in the same. It's in the same universe as Something's Killing Children, but it's just a lot slower. As Erica Slaughter and Something Killed, she goes out and actively hunts monsters, and people hunt her. She doesn't talk about her feelings a lot. This House of Slaughter stuff has a lot of introspection, a lot of exposition, and sometimes it gets a little sluggish. Next up is Philadelphia. Excellent read. Toussaint L'Ouverture. He's been introduced. He's wiping out vampires left and right, and now he might be wiping out the werewolves. For those who don't know, Rodney Barnes writes this, and another thing that's on my pull list, Nita Hawes, Nightmare Blog, and that's based in Annapolis. It is both of them excellent reads, excellent, expertly written, beautiful artists. Jason Sean Alexander. Pick them up if you don't. Get them in trade paperbacks, or hell, you might be able to buy a bunch of them through the singles. That's on the stands, still on the stands. Very good read. Image Comics. Little Monsters. Jeff Lemire and Dustin Nguyen. Good story about vampires. Another end of the world story. The last kids on Earth are vampires, and they're hunting the last humans now. It's convoluted to explain in the time frame that we have, but it's a good read. Pick it up if you get a chance. It also would be really good to read as a collected edition in paperback format. I'm reading Amazing Spider-Man. John Romita Jr.'s art is a little off-putting, but the story is there. Zeb Wells, I think, is the writer now. Excellent story. I like to see what they're taking Peter. They just celebrated his 60th anniversary being a character. But the Amazing Fantasy 1000 had a bunch of different stories. Didn't, not interconnected or anything, but fun. It's a fun read, and I like fun reads now. You can't have everything about the end of the world and, fighting for your life and stuff like that. You got to have things that kind of inspire you. And the first story, just some guy, really sums up who Spider-Man is and why he is who he is. The cover price is a little off-putting because it's like $7.99, but it's a thick book, square bound book, nice read. Go out and get it if you can. They have a million different covers for it. I got the A cover, but it's a good read. But ASM is a really, it's back on track. I think the artwork is improving. Go ahead and get it. Miles Morales, Spider-Man. Miles has just come from the other dimension where Salem was the he was like the conqueror of that small pocket dimension. They've since killed Salem, and he's heading back to Earth 616. But apparently the next issue is going to be the last one. They introduced a lot of people in this run, including his sister, Spectacular Spider Smasher, and his sister Captain Billy, and a lot of other characters. But it's a fun read. I'm curious to see what they're going to do with the character. His What If, Miles Morales it wrapped up a few months ago now in the 5th issue. And it basically introduced his version of the Avengers. Just like Spider-Gwen. Spider-Gwen just wrapped up and introduced her version of the Avengers, all variants based on her. So it's interesting how they're doing their universe building for these specific characters. And, they're choosing not to have certain variants. Like Miles had a variant of Thor, Hulk, Wolverine, a couple other things. But Gwen's had a version of Iron Gwen. And her version of Thor was a lot different. But it's interesting to see how they're doing their universe building with those two specific characters, because they appeal to a different demographic than I think most people, my age would appeal to. It's not for me. It's for people younger than me, I think. I'm an old man. I've been reading comic books for 30-something years, almost 40 years. So it's not for me. It's for whoever else wants to read it. And usually the people who want to read it are people in that age demographic, the tweens, the early 20s, people who grew up looking at the cartoons. And I was a person that grew up looking at cartoons, and I like Spider-Man. I like Peter Parker. But those, watch those books, because you're going to see those characters again someday. And the last on my pull list is, not necessarily the last, Spider-Punk. Really good book. Solid story. Weird art, but very good. Also sporadically on my pull list are the Moon Girl and Miss Marvel one-shots with X-Men, Moon Knight, Wolverine, etc. I think they have one issue a piece left. Just trying to see where it goes. I love those two characters, Moon Knight and Miss Marvel. Kamala Khan is an awesome character. If you don't know who Kamala Khan is, go check your Disney Plus. Look at the back issue bin, if you can find some of her issues in the back issue bin now, because she is on fire. And Moon Girl, like I said, she appeals to a different demographic. She's brainiac little kid, and she just happened to have a pet dinosaur, devil dinosaur. So it's going to be interesting to see how they transition her character onto either the big screen or to the cartoon phase. Comic news. Controversy with the new Spider-Man in the Edge of Spider-Verse. I mentioned it earlier. They're introducing a new character called Web Weaver into the Spider-Verse. Apparently, he's a gay fashion designer, and he is, that universe's version of Spider-Man. I've already seen a lot of negative stuff, a lot of things been pushed out saying how, they're going to cancel Marvel, they're going to cancel their subscription. A lot of that's bullshit. You're not going to cancel your subscription. And if you do, shame on you. A lot of people in the industry, well, not necessarily in the industry, a lot of fanboys, especially for Marvel and DC, they're gatekeepers. And they're people my age, and they're old white men. They don't want to acknowledge that other people exist besides them. So a lot of times you see these people making all this ruckus about, I'm not going to support this because it's a gay character, or this character in the comic book was white. These are fictional characters. These are fictional characters. I'll say it one more time. These are fictional characters. They can be any damn color their management or the people who design them want them to be. Period. If they lose some steam, or they lose traction because people don't support them, then maybe they'll change them back. But for right now, they're trying to include more people because the world does not, it's not consist of just straight white men. They're black people. They're women. There's transgender people. They're gay people. There's lesbians. There's everybody you can think of in the world. So if your comic books look like your world, you'd be more apt to read them, in my opinion. I could be wrong, and maybe I'll get canceled for this, but I just don't agree with people coming out going crazy because the character, they don't agree with the character, so of course it has to be bad. This is not 1956. It's not 1922. It's 2022, and I think it's about time. And especially in an infinite multiverse. You're going to tell me not one version of Spider-Man is a gay dude? Or one version of Spider-Man is not a black dude? One version of Spider-Man is not a Hispanic dude? Give me a break. So, it's a big controversy right now. I already ordered 2 damn variant copies of it. So there's that. I support him. Hopefully he does a good job. Hopefully the writers and the creators do a good job with him. I'm interested to see where it goes. Dark Spaces, I already mentioned that. They're killing it right now. 8 Billion Genies. Both of those comics have already been optioned for TV shows too. So if you can go find them, go grab them now. 8 Billion Genies #1, you won't be able to find that at all. I can tell you that right now. I bought 1 copy, signed, went back to the store to get a second copy, none. They've released the second printing of it, of the #1 issue, gone. And that was an independent, Image comic. So they might have had a print run of 10, 20,000. So imagine how many copies are really out there right now that people are not hoarding. Not many. That's some controversy. Of course, there's always controversy about stuff. You got, like I point out, you got gatekeepers. Old fanboys who don't want to see the world change. They're upset about She-Hulk twerking with Meg Thee Stallion in the latest episode of She-Hulk, which is took all about a minute, and that was a post-credit. And now people, I'm never gonna watch this. They're destroying the Marvel universe. And that tells me a lot of things. A lot of people have never read the book. She-Hulk breaks the fourth wall. She does this. She does that. She dances. She does a lot of funny shit. So if she does all these things in the comic book and she does these funny things in the show, I think that's translating what the material is. So I don't know what they're upset about. Maybe they could be upset because, she's danced with a black woman. Who knows? Like I said, you have a lot of gatekeepers in the comic book and nerd world. I don't get it. What are you mad about? What are you really mad about? You're not mad about, a CGI character dancing, are you? I mean, is your life that miserable that you have to be upset about that? Really weird. Some of the things I just finished in the back, as a back issue bandit. I have a lot of back issues. My personal collection is about 12,000 books. So I just finished the Shadow series. Just finished collecting the Shadow series from 1974. Finished it with issues 6, 11, and 12. Thanks, Mike, for meeting me up there at the gas station to hand me over those books. It was almost like a drug deal. I don't do drugs, but it was almost like a drug deal, buying 6, 11, and 12. It was cathartic. I had finished my collection of all 12 issues of the OG run by Danny O'Neil and Mike Kaluta. Beautiful series, good writing. It stands up to the test of time. It was written in 1974, before I was born. And Mike Kaluta is an excellent artist. Excellent. I even saw some of his other works. He and the Shadow, I don't know, it's like a symbiotic relationship. The dude draws the Shadow better than any other person I've ever seen beside Alex Ross. Just an incredible artist. And it stands up to the test of time. Just beautiful, beautiful pencils. Just everything is nice about his artwork. But yeah, I just finished that series. So yay me. Another thing that I finished reading, I finished collecting Blue Beetle 1 through 10. Oh, I'm sorry, 1 through 12. The original DC version of him. Post-Crisis by Lynn Wayne and Paris Collins. Very fun series. Like I said, you can't read end of the world stuff and bleak stuff all the time. You gotta read stuff that's funny and stuff that makes you happy. And this is basic superhero fare. Ted Kord, inventor. He has a Blue Beetle suit. He has a bunch of gadgets, so to speak. And his first appearance with Fire Fist, obscure villain. But it's a very fun series. It's, very DC style stuff. Witty banter, heavy dialogue, but has action and it's fun. And it's something that, you can look back and say, I like this. This is, why I got into comic books. It's a superhero. He's like, Bruce Wayne analog, but with, humor. Just really fun. And if you also a fan of Blue Beetle, check out Blue Beetle and Booster Gold, the blue and gold mini that ran a few months ago. Very fun. Booster Gold's hilarious. I would like to see them make a movie with Booster Gold and Blue Beetle. They're just really fun to watch. Well, that's it for me. Drop us a review or shoot us an email at seandgraham@yahoo.com. Or like I said, send us a message through one of the podcatchers. We really appreciate your support. Thank you. And I'll see you around the way.